Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Kane University. Thank you all for being here this evening. I'm Claire Mulry, and I'm the chairperson of the Department of Occupational Therapy, and I have the privilege and honor to welcome you to Kane University this evening. Welcome to the Department of Occupational Therapy's celebration of research and practice. Tonight, we celebrate. I said, tonight we celebrate. There we go. That's a little better. Before we get started, it's been a long journey for all of us, right? A little stressful on occasion here and there. But I do want to deliver my heartfelt, sincere thanks to every student in this room, the amazing, talented faculty and staff that worked so hard, not just to bring your students that are ready to go out into practice in their fieldworks. That's our job every day. But you've probably also heard that we just went through an American Council of Occupational Therapy Education reaccreditation site visit that ended a few short hours ago, and we have successfully completed that. Again, thank you to the talented faculty and staff and students that brought that to fruition. We'll debrief it. The faculty and staff will hear everything that was said, but one of the things that are said that I want to share with you and your family and the team tonight is that what's happening here at Kane isn't happening anywhere else in this country. You have all done a tremendous job. Every one of you, every student, every staff, every faculty member, congratulations. We are doing great things for the society and the community, and you're going to continue to leave us today and go forward and do that outward, out in the world. We are so proud of you, and I'm excited to welcome your families here. I'm going to start with a thank you to you and your families for choosing Kane. Thank you. I'm also going to remind every one of you that are going out to field work, that was the most stressful part of my occupational therapy education personally, in my lived experience, but we got you. You need us, you call. Tara and Michael are your first calls, and I'm your second. And anyone who has my cell, or any other faculty member's cell, call us if you need us, we're going to get you through it, okay? You got this, you're ready. All right, so we're celebrating that you finished your 2 years of didactic field work. Congratulations. Y'all laughed? You've all laughed, you studied, you might have cried, you might have yelled at a loved one. I apologize on their behalf. I probably had something to do with that at some level. And you sacrificed your time with family and friends to get to this moment. You're ready to go out to practice, and we're going to celebrate that tonight. You're ready. Tonight, we're also celebrating your scholarship. You've heard your entire time that you were here. OTs can solve every societal problem that's out there. Just let us help. Just give us a seat at the table. And you know how that can happen and how occupation leads to health and wellness in your lives. Don't forget to rest and take care of your own needs, but in the lives of your clients and your communities. You're going to make a better society as occupational therapists. Your research projects that you did gave you the skills to show that to our payers, the community, the federal government, everywhere. Continue to do your research to show how good OT can be and how we can solve society's problems. Together, I would like you to give your faculty and staff and your mentors a round of applause for helping you get here. Michael has the OT Goosies, inside joke. I'd like to thank Antonella Rubio and Sarah Orby. They've planned this entire event under Dr. Friedman, Dr. Serafian, Dr. Gardner's, Dr. Matthews, Dr. Camacho's, Dr. Kenny's, everyone's leadership. But they've carried the lion's share of this work with Dr. Friedman, and I appreciate them. Do not leave. Research can get a little slow at times. Stay awake, get some more coffee, it's in the lobby, because at the end, Sarah Orby has designed an amazing video tribute to these students 2 years thus far in our program. Now, you need to give your thanks and appreciation to all these people that came to celebrate you students. They got you through. I appreciate them for bringing the gift of you into this world. Please thank them for supporting you through this journey. Thank your family and your friends. Go family. Go friends. Now I'm going to hand the mic over with my heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Zahava Friedman for her planning, her passion, and her scholarly example.
So if all of you family and friends, you can now follow the programs that you've been given, and you will hear about 6 absolutely incredible research projects that these students have designed and implemented. They will share their stories with you, they will share their research with you, and hopefully you'll come out hearing a little bit more about occupational therapy, who they are as people, and I just think the world of all of you, and I'm proud of you. I know it's nerve-wracking getting up on this stage, but I'm really just grateful to be here with you and to have witnessed all of you becoming who you are today. So without further ado, I'd like to call up the first research group, the Raising Families group, Sana, Carly, Jenel, Miara Joy, Brianna, and Dervain. I am the research advisor together with Dr. Sabrina Kenny, Dr. John Lee from PT, Professor Kelly Sullivan, Dr. Carrie Giordano from clinical psychology, Professor Ladowick from the speech department, and Dr. Kate Nealon.
Hi everyone. Thank you all for being here today. We are the Raising Families team, and we're excited to share our journey of advanced research with you. Our research has been a labor of love, requiring dedication and diligent work over the past 3 semesters as graduate students. This journey has been incredibly rewarding, as it has not only provided us with a wealth of valuable information, but has brought us closer together as a team of future practitioners and friends. Today, we will be presenting our work to you in the form of a children's storybook in 4 condensed and concise chapters written by Brianna,
Jenel, Carly,
Dervain,
Miara, and Sana.
Okay, everybody, now gather around for story time.
Chapter 1, Introduction. Once upon a time, there were 6 brave and curious graduate students who lived in the magical land of Jersey, in a strange and wonderful town called Hillside. There was a brick castle which housed their dreams, and this castle was known as Kane University. Each of these students shared a grand dream of becoming skilled occupational therapy practitioners and adventurers. They needed to learn about occupational therapy and how occupational therapists, or OTs, can bring their unique skills to teams. OTs support individuals in engaging in activities that they want and need to do, meeting each person where they're at. In order to reach their dreams, they first had to embark on an adventure called Advanced Research, where they looked at how teams work together in order to find their future place in the world.
A fancy word for teamwork is interprofessional collaboration. Although OTs are awesome, they still have a lot to learn from their teammates. A teammate of an OT may be a speech therapist who works on speech and language, or a physical therapist who works on strength and improving the body. Each member of the team, including OT, brings a unique skill set and perspective that contributes to holistic care.
How the journey began. The researchers started with us, searching for an interprofessional project to study.
They could barely contain their excitement when they realized a teamwork project was happening in their very own university. This project was known as Raising Families. The Raising Families program contained a team of occupational therapists, speech therapists, physical therapists, psychologists, and graduate students from Kane University working together to provide 12 weeks of support programming to young children and their families. After COVID-19, many caregivers struggled to meet their own needs and the needs of their families. These clinicians, students, and caregivers work to meet these needs and improve each family's health outcomes while improving developmental milestones.
Chapter 2, Background. The researchers were inspired to learn more about interprofessional collaboration and the OT's role within this dynamic team. They began an in-depth dive into the literature, scouring databases, immersing themselves in journal articles, and sharing with each other what they found.
After the month-long dive into the literature, 3 key aspects were revealed. They found that interprofessional collaboration helps children gain better health outcomes, and parents were satisfied as they felt part of the healthcare team through communication and response to their needs. They also found that exposing students to interprofessionalism through education and practice in healthcare prepares them to provide great care and work better with others.
Uncovering the patterns from past research and implications for practice led the researchers to design an even better way to learn about the Raising Families project.
The researchers were dedicated to understanding the experiences of the participants. The purpose of their study was to understand how caregivers, students, and clinicians perceived or looked at the Raising Families project.
The researchers had 3 main objectives. Firstly, they looked to explore the perceptions and individual experience of caregivers who completed a 12-week program. Secondly, they wanted to understand the students' perception of the project. And thirdly, they wanted to understand how clinicians experience raising families. The overall purpose of this project was to figure out how the Raising Families team worked together, what worked, what didn't work, and how the future teams can do a better job.
Chapter 3, What We Did. In order to understand the perceptions of caregivers, students, and clinicians throughout the program, a convergent parallel mixed methods design was used. This means that the researchers gathered both qualitative and quantitative data. The quantitative data consisted of numeric survey data and provided the researchers with objective information, while the qualitative data included ideas and comments shared by the participants. And they were able to explore their descriptive experiences throughout that time. A reflective thematic analysis was used to analyze the qualitative data, including the participants' interviews and focus groups, alongside descriptive statistics for the quantitative data.
The researchers met with caregivers, students, and clinicians to listen to their stories about their Raising Families experiences in focus groups and interviews. When the researchers listened to their stories, they began to understand, and they made meaning out of these experiences. When researchers make meaning, this is called a theme.
11 brave individuals participated in the study. There were 5 caregivers, 2 students, and 4 clinicians who joined the researchers and were eager to share their stories.
Chapter 4, What We Found. The researchers used a fancy calculator called SPSS to describe the participants' stories in numbers. They called it quantitative results. In general, nearly all caregivers, students, and clinicians shared that they learned more about each other, child development, and themselves throughout the Raising Families project.
Hi, I'm one of the mothers who participated.
Let's listen to some of the stories of the participants. Please note the researchers use their own voices to share the ideas or stories in order to protect the identity of the participants.
Hi, I'm one of the mothers who participated in the Raising Families project. I know my child improved because I saw the progress in her each week. Even so, I may have learned more about taking care of her as a mother more than anything. And my experience with the clinicians has been really great. I felt heard by them and can see that they really cared for me as a mother.
Hi, I'm one of the graduate students who participated in the Raising Families project. I learned so much from working with the clinicians and other students. Each of them shared different ideas and skills that I'll take with me throughout my career as a future OT. I always felt like I could ask them questions and have them explain their clinical reasoning. I just wish I had more time with them because their time was so valuable. I definitely feel more confident in my clinical abilities after participating in the program.
Hi, I'm the OT who participated in the Raising Families project. The wealth of resources that were all located in that one room was overwhelming. It's so amazing. It was like the United Nations of pediatric care. It made me appreciate the holistic approach that interprofessional collaboration brings. In future programs of the Raising Families project, I think that more time with parents who will help with carryover of intervention at home and more time with students will help with the student learning.
Now, back to the story. Finally, the researchers understood the greater story, spoken in terms of 3 themes: logistical, or practical elements of working in a team; emotional, or how teams make us feel; and clinical, or how teams help achieve a goal. They realized that in order to work together, this takes a lot of logistical work. They also learned that when clinicians and students put in time and effort, there are emotional and clinical benefits. This means that although interprofessional collaboration can be challenging, this helps the team feel connected and also helps families, children, and communities receive better care.
Still, the researchers also realized that there were some limitations or challenges to their research. First, they only interviewed 11 people. While this is a lot for qualitative research, it would have been nice to hear the stories of more people. Also, though, the researchers learned that the Raising Families was only offered in English, which limited the numbers of families who would participate. At the end, they realized that there is so much more to learn about teamwork and that they were just at the beginning of a lifelong, incredible journey.
Through collaboration and learning, the researchers realized that they had forged bonds that will endure beyond their time as students. This experience has not only enriched their academic pursuits, but also enriched their lives, leaving them with cherished memories and lasting connections. The end. Oh wait, we have to give the mics back. Wait guys, we have to go that way.
Thank you so much to the Raising Families Research Group. Great work. I would like to now call up Elevando Nuestra Comunidad Group, Rachel, Weiser, Haley, Antonella, and Kat, and the research advisor, Dr. Victor Michael Camacho.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We are Elevando Nuestra Comunidad. My name is Wiser.
My name's Kat.
My name is Haley.
My name is Antonella.
My name is Rachel.
And we are excited to present to you the research we've been working on throughout the past year to you through a story format. Haley will be acting as a narrator, Rachel as the mother, Antonella as the daughter, and Catlea and I as student researchers.
Hope you enjoy.
Before we begin, we would like to thank all the incredible staff and faculty who made this research possible. We would like to thank Dr. Victor Michael Camacho, Dr. Zahava Friedman, Dr. Clara Mulry, John Rutledge, Jillian Scott, Rosa Paulino, Luis Martinez, Billy Bailey, and Ruben Martinez. Racial diversity in healthcare professions, specifically in occupational therapy, has been a long-standing concern as this profession lacks representation of minority practitioners. Out of 149,000 employed OT practitioners in 2022, 86.2% identified as white, while only 6.1% identified as Hispanic or Latino, and only 5.4% identified as Black or African American. A majority of underrepresented minorities working in healthcare remain in entry-level and often lower-paying jobs. The first scene is going to start with a conversation between a mother and her daughter. And begin.
Hey, Ma, how was PT today?
Well, it was actually OT, mija, but it was okay. I just feel like there's a little bit of disconnect between how my therapist is telling me to do things versus how we do it in our culture. I wish there was a way for the OT field to be more representative of diverse backgrounds.
Racial concordance is highly valued by underrepresented minority patients preferring healthcare professionals who share a similar background, which is linked to lower rates of hospitalization, lower healthcare expenditures, and more comfort speaking to healthcare providers, ultimately leading to better health outcomes. Practitioners, specifically those who identify as Hispanic, Black, and Native American, are more likely to work in underserved communities at a higher rate in comparison to white clinicians. The next scene begins with the daughter, Antonella, finding out about a research study at school that's focusing on introducing undergraduate students to occupational therapy.
Hey, how are you doing today? Are you interested in participating in our research program?
Hi, I was just curious about what your study is about. I want to go into the healthcare field, but I'm really undecided in what I really want to do.
Of course. So we are constructing a pilot pipeline program that will investigate the potential barriers that prevent underrepresented minority undergraduate students from pursuing higher education, specifically in the occupational therapy field.
Wait, that's so cool because like my mom is actually going to OT because she hurt her hand. So can you just tell me more how it looks like if I do decide to participate in your program?
Yeah, of course. So first, you would fill out a pre-survey. It'll ask you demographic questions and questions that gauge your knowledge, interest, and self-efficacy in related to OT. And with those questionnaires, there's actually things that will ask you about your barriers and forms of support in terms of pursuing higher education. And then you would come and attend our one-time interactive learning program on the Kane OT Clinic right on East Campus, and we'll show you what OT looks like in action. And then after that, you would fill out the post-survey, which has the same exact questions, and then from the data you provide us, we will see if there's a change in your interests, knowledge, and self-efficacy in related to OT.
Wow, that sounds really cool. And is it open to everybody? And most importantly, is this free?
Yes, this is a free one-time 90-minute session program, and we are looking for the experiences of Kane undergraduate students who are 18 years or older, who identify as Hispanic or Latino, or Black or African American.
Okay, I'm definitely adding it to my calendar. Even if I have to miss class, I'll be there, guys.
Oh, I wouldn't recommend that, but sure, we'll love to see you there.
After attending the program, Antonella goes home to tell her mom all about her amazing experience at the research.
Ma, I had a really, really cool experience today at Kane with some of the OT researchers from the Kane OT program.
Well, tell me more about it.
Well, so basically, they gave me a pre-survey, and they asked me about like my demographics. They asked me what are some barriers that I experienced to like enter higher education. They asked me about my knowledge about OT, which, Ma, you know, I knew nothing because I thought you were doing PT, and it was actually OT. They also asked me about my interest in OT and how confident I would feel in pursuing a career in OT. But then the best part was this like amazing interactive experience where I got to see what OTs do, how they do it, who they treat, where they do it. And the best part was that this was in the OT clinic on campus. Ma, I didn't even know we had a clinic on campus. It was just such an amazing experience.
Wow, and so that's so amazing. I feel like we've found your place in the healthcare profession. I feel like you have an understanding of what OT is and the confidence to pursue it as a career. This is so amazing because increasing diversity can result in better health outcomes for those of diverse backgrounds. I'm so proud of you, Anto. Wait, what about the results?
Oh,
Okay, well. So our results indicate that the most prevalent barriers that underrepresented undergraduate minorities face when entering education include the cost of education, the cost of tuition, housing, food, expenses such as like traveling, all of this stuff. Also knowledge about even how to apply. They also have they have less preparation when it comes to like academic related matters, and they also have a lack of knowledge on the application process, and also being a first generation student, it often represents a barrier. However, some of the supports that we found were prevalent for this population was the support from family, from caregivers, from peers, and for friends, and also the academic guidance from counselors.
Statistical analysis was performed with 6 participants who completed the pre and post survey. Of the 6 participants, 67% had a positive difference in knowledge of occupational therapy from pre-survey to post-survey. For interest, 33% had a positive difference, 17% neutral difference, and 50% no change in interest. For self-efficacy or confidence, 50% had a positive difference, 33% had no change in confidence, and 17% had a negative difference.
some limitations of our research include a small sample size with only 6 participants during the intervention stage, affecting generalizability of the results. The initial inclusion criteria, targeting only freshman and sophomore students, was too narrow, impacting initial interest from upperclassmen, leading to a small participation from this group.
Additionally, the intervention was only a 190-minute program session. A more extensive intervention spanning over multiple weeks, stimulating a true pipeline program structure, may be more impactful for participants. However, this is just a preliminary pipeline study to gather more data on how to create a robust and valuable pipeline program.
This Level 4 research study contributes to the literature surrounding current barriers that underrepresented minority students face when entering higher education. It also serves to inform future pipeline programs of the value of equipping underrepresented minority students with the knowledge and resources needed to address their own barriers. Programs that follow this structure can support students in making an informed career choice.
In the future, researchers should consider exploring URM communities that are not well represented in the OT workforce and diving deeper into intersectionality to examine how other social identities, in addition to race and ethnic backgrounds, impact exposure and engagement in the OT field.
Lastly, pipeline programs should collaborate with undergraduate classes and organizations focused on offering students academic support, mentoring, and resources to ensure participation and attendance, while fostering good relationships and providing professional mentorships to students.
La diversidad cultural de Estados Unidos presenta una amplia gama de experiencias que esperan y merecen ser compartidas, aceptadas y comprendidas.
Le nou gen diversite nan occupational therapy, li fe profesyon pi riche, epi li fe nou gen plis sempati epi efikasite pou servi tout moun ki nan yon kominote.
Ang amon tuyo nga maghimo hin inklusibo o kultural nga pamaagi han pagpaupay kada tao, bisan ano nga klase han ira kasinatian, para han katuyuan nga makahatag kami hin pinakamaupay nga pagpaatiman hapan lawas.
America's cultural diversity presents a vast array of experiences waiting to be shared, embraced, and understood. Incorporating these diverse perspectives into occupational therapy enriches our practice, fostering greater empathy and effectiveness in serving all individuals within our community.
We aim to create a more inclusive and culturally responsive therapeutic approach that celebrates the richness of each person's background to provide the best moment of care. Thank you.
Oh my. And these are our references.
Thank you. Perfect. I'm gonna grab these. Thank you. Give the rest of them to Bailey. Thank you. Thank you, Elevandos. Outstanding job. I would now like to call up the accessibility advocates, Sandra, Eric, Nalani, Chris, and Zach, guided by their research advisor, Dr. Victor Michael Camacho.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We are the Accessibility Advocates. My name is Eric.
My name is Chris.
My name is Zach.
My name is Sandra.
And my name is Nalani.
And today, we will be presenting our research on equity in technology. In today's world, technology has become such a large part of our lives, especially within education. Devices such as computers, laptops, tablets, and other things have become essential to supporting academic success among the student population. In the past, we've only had to bring notebooks, pencils, folders to our classroom to be able to participate, but now times have changed. We need either tablets or computers or laptops to access online assignments, take online exams, and access all the academic resources that they put online on LMSs such as Canvas and Blackboard. Now that students are expected to bring these devices to school, we want to see how well they are able to participate in higher education in the current times. As aspiring occupational therapists, this is a major concern for us, as occupational therapy practitioners have the expectation to promote occupational justice within society for everyone to participate in their valued occupations. Understanding these larger contexts is important for us to see and ensure equal opportunity for all students in order to access higher education and achieve their aspirations and goals. As our group is focused on technology, we felt that it was appropriate to present our research in the form of a video format, so please take a look.
Welcome to the OT Network. My name is Nalani Bless.
And my name is Eric Gonzalez.
Today we'll be discussing technology. At Kane University, a research study was conducted by Kane Occupational Therapy students. Their research focused on the accessibility of technology in the undergraduate population of multiple Kane University campuses across New Jersey.
In the existing literature, research has extensively examined the effect of laptop programs on academic performance within the K-12 education system. However, there is a noticeable lack of investigation regarding accessibility of technology within higher education students. Thus, it was originally hypothesized that the primary concern for lack of accessibility to technology was regarding physical devices among the higher education population.
Student researchers decided to disseminate a survey through Navigate 360 and received 212 responses. The inclusion criteria consisted of individuals being undergraduate King University students, ages 18 years and older, able to read English, while the exclusion criteria consisted of individuals who are not King University students, under the age of 18, unable to read English, and who may have a relationship with the researchers.
Student researchers also provided a survey to the Associate Vice President of Administration at Kean University, who's an expert at survey development and distribution. They did so in order to review the survey and to validate the survey and further develop its intended application of assessing accessibility and technology. Now, we'll send it over to Zach, who is currently speaking with two of the researchers right now.
Thanks, Eric. I'm Zach, and I'm out here at the library, and I'm here with two of the researchers from this research study, Chris and Sandra. Nice to be here with you.
Hey, Zach. Thanks for having us here today.
So I heard that your group actually got about 212 students for your survey. I think that's incredible. Do you think that there was an even distribution of the academic levels, whether it be freshman, junior, senior, in your results?
We saw the most responses from 72 juniors and 61 seniors. We had nearly an equal amount for freshmen and sophomore, with 41 freshmen and 38 sophomores responding.
So I know that one of the biggest things that you and the group kind of hypothesized was the fact that, technology and access to technology has a huge impact on the student's educational achievement. So now that you've kind of analyzed your results, would you say that that hypothesis still stands?
So the results showed that 57.5% of students believe that technology, which are your laptops, tablets, smartphones, were extremely important to their education. Also, 52.8% of students believe that technological resources such as ebooks, online databases, learning management systems like Canvas were also extremely important to their education.
So it seems that from the research, you kind of really figured out right off the bat that technology and technological resources are really crucial for the student's educational achievement. Would you agree with that?
Exactly, but what surprised our group the most was the fact that issues regarding access to physical devices such as laptops and tablets were not as significant as we originally thought it would be. In fact, 78% of students reported that they never have limitations in accessing physical devices. We also saw that 70% of students never experienced limitations in accessing major specific software for use in their courses.
Well, that's definitely really surprising to hear. Would you be able to talk about some of the implications that your research really had? And if access wasn't really the big concern, then what was instead? And would you be able to give any of the student perspectives of anything that really stood out to you that really meant something to the implications for the research?
One of our major findings had to do with students' awareness of Kean University's free resources. Nearly 40% of students were unaware that Kean provided free access to open educational resources, or OER. That's where you would find online textbooks, access to online journals for research, and other valuable databases. Kean also offers free access to software such as Microsoft 365, Zoom Pro, and other such programs, to which 31% of students were not aware of them as well. Lack of student awareness really came to us as a surprise, as Kean is offering these free resources to students that aren't utilizing them simply because they don't know they exist.
So I guess that kind of raises the big question, why weren't these students really aware of these resources then?
While we weren't able to get a definitive answer to that question, we were able to gain some insight via the open response questions. Within those responses, one student mentioned that they were not aware of OER, so they'd make all the information more accessible, possibly sending out to students to inform them about the resources that are available to them. In a similar context, another student said that they wish they would have known more about them as they were approaching their graduation, and stated that they were or weren't aware of the majority of the technological resources that were available.
On top of that, 84 students reported they were unaware of OER but would like access to it in their courses, which makes it clear to us that student awareness of OER was a major area of concern that would warrant further research.
I think everything that you and Chris explained was super well said. I wanted to thank you and Chris for being out here and really explaining the research to us. And now I'm going to move it over back to Eric and Nalani in the studio, OT Network.
Thanks, Zach. Additionally, student researchers noted limitations in the study, including the sample being drawn from just one U.S. university, the survey being exclusively in English, and the absence of psychometric measures.
The study at Kean University found a significant lack of awareness among undergraduate students about available free technology resources such as OER and LMS. Previous research showed that students will underperform without access to laptops, while providing technological resources will help enhance their learning. Similarly, the study emphasizes the importance of device access for academic success. Overall, these findings can help administrators develop a program that promotes technological equity among the undergraduate population at Kean University.
Future implications of the research point to the need for a broader exploration of the technology access in higher education nationwide, along with a further investigation into the awareness of the gap regarding free technological resources among college students. There is also a need to continue examining the advantages of open educational resources, OER, in higher education to understand student experiences with technological challenges.
Well, that wraps up our segment today. Thank you so much for joining us on today's broadcast. Stay safe, everyone. Well, that wraps up our segment. Thank you so much for joining us for today's broadcast. Stay safe, everyone.
Did it record?
Before we go, we just want to quickly thank our research advisor, Dr. Camacho, for his dedicated support throughout this entire year. You really did empower us to go through this research and gave us all the support we needed to produce this. So thank you so much for that. And we also, yeah. And of course, we extend a special thank you to Dr. Mohamed Hassan, Jillian Scott, Neville Lazada, and Professor John Rutledge for their invaluable assistance with our research study. Their contributions were instrumental for us to produce this research. And again, we just want to thank everyone here for listening to our research this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Accessibility Advocates, for that informative news program. We now have the Neurodiverse Detectives Group, Carmina, Christine, Steph, Gabby, and Danielle, guided by their research advisor, Dr. Jennifer Gardner.
It's up. Sahaba has it. I think that was one.
Hi everyone, we are the Neurodiverse Detectives. My name is Stephanie.
I'm Danielle.
I'm Carmina.
I'm Christine.
And I'm Gabriella.
Our research explores the needs and perspectives of Kean University students who've experienced emotional or mental distress situations on campus that required police interactions. In addition, we gathered perspectives of Kean University police officers regarding their training and experiences for these times. So we will be discussing mental health content of college university students. In relation to the second bullet, Shriver 2021 had 67 police officers participate in the study from over 30 states and found that over half of the college students experienced mental distress on campus. This highlights the need for student support systems, as police officers are the only personnel available 24/7. These objectives not only come from the literature, but from the Kean University Arrive Together program that pairs law enforcement officers with mental health screeners to respond to mental health emergencies. Arrive Together was introduced in January 2024, and we, the ND detectives, decided to base our research off of this pilot program.
The literature yielded that along with the college experience comes rigorous academics, financial burden, and sleep deprivation. Due to these factors, students experience increased mental health concerns, including high rates of stress, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and suicidal ideation. Campus mental health supports are key in identifying, preventing, and treating these mental health concerns, but they're not available 24/7, and students have reported avoiding these services due to stigma. Police are the only support on campus 24/7, and the literature has yielded that they don't receive training on mental health,
and they report not feeling confident in acknowledging signs, symptoms, and strategies when responding to these mental health, emotional distress calls. Gaps within the literature suggest that there's limited research on urban-based college campuses, a need for increased training, and a need for a collaborative co-design and production of specialized training programs for police officers.
When beginning our study, we decided to structure our research on the person-environmental occupation performance model, which is a theoretical framework we use as occupational therapists that show that these constructs work together, as you can see in the picture. We also structured our questions such as, what were the challenges or difficulties you faced, if any, while communicating your emotional/mental distress to Kane University police officers? The participants of this study were just the Kane students who were on the main campus and the police officers who served Kane. And the inclusionary criteria for both participants were pretty similar. They both had to be 18 years or older, a student at Kane main campus or a police officer working at Kane, must read and understand English, and we had an exclusionary criteria where the Kane University students were enrolled in other campuses that weren't Hillside or Union. We also decided to use a mixed method approach, which means we collected quantitative data through surveys and then intended qualitative data from individual interviews. And then peer IRB approval and permission from the Wellness Center and Division of Integrated of Health, Safety, and Response Services. Our recruitment was an Instagram post and then physical flyers around the Union and Hillside campuses for student, and then the recruitment email to police department administration for the police officers.
Let's start with the results from our student participants. We had a small but diverse group of 5 respondents. 80% fell within the 18 to 24 age range, with one participant in the 25 to 34 age bracket. In terms of gender identity, 40% identified as male and 60% identified as female, indicating a fairly balanced representation. Ethnic backgrounds varied, with 20% African American, 60% white Caucasian, and 20% Middle Eastern North African. All students reported English as their primary language. When exploring their educational backgrounds, we found that 80% held a high school diploma, while 20% had obtained a master's degree, showcasing a diverse academic achievements. Additionally, 80% of respondents reported no current diagnosis, while one student reported a diagnosis falling under the other category without disclosing what it is. When asking students about their challenges during encounters in communicating their emotional, mental distress to our Kane University police officers, 100% of participants reported facing obstacles. The most prevalent barriers included responders' lack of awareness or understanding of emotional, mental distress, fear of repercussions or legal consequences, and inadequate training of first responders. Interestingly, none of the participants reported challenges related to language barriers or cultural differences hindering effective communication, indicating a potential area of strength within our campus community. These findings from the students highlight the urgent need for enhanced training and awareness among our law enforcement personnel in handling mental health crises on campus. Additionally, concerns were raised regarding the need for better awareness and coordination among campus departments when responding to repeated distress situations involving the same student. Now, shifting our focus to the responses from our police. 2 police officers participated in our survey, offering insight into their perceptions and challenges when interacting with students in distress. Despite the small sample size, their responses provided valuable perspectives on their confidence levels and the difficulties they encountered within Kane University. These officers reported moderate comfort levels in handling such interactions, indicating opportunities for enhancing their communication skills. Challenges identified by officers complemented those reported by students, highlighting the urgent need for targeted training programs and resources. Suggestions for improvement included enhanced collaboration between law enforcement and mental health professionals, expanded training,
and the provision of sensory tools for de-escalation, though concerns were raised regarding the appropriateness of sensory interventions, urging further exploration of professional boundaries.
The officer wasn't very clear about what he wanted. He was supportive. However, he started talking about my mental health status in the hallway and with no privacy. He did not inform me about my rights. I was forced into a police car and forced to see a counselor with disregard of knowledge what my options were. The officer did not know what he was supposed to do. He had to call his supervisor. I feel like they need better training, and also I was reaching for my phone because someone was calling me and they told me not to reach it, and I felt in danger by that officer, especially being black. I have a terrible experience.
The audio that just played was a recording of an example of a student response we wanted to highlight so that their voices were heard. In light of the research that was found, we need to look at the discussions and limitations of the information. We had a small sample size of less than 10 participants in total. This could potentially be attributed to the recruitment methods used, as they were a bit more indirect to be considerate of the niche and sensitive nature of this topic. Additionally, with our small sample, we were unable to perform the intended interviews with participants due to participants not consenting. We would also like to note that throughout our research, we chose to de-identify a lot of our demographic information to protect the participants, again, because of the sensitive nature of our topic. This brings us into some more of the responses of the participants, which Christine also shared some prior. I wanted to highlight some of the responses, which with students feeling that police officers were somewhat prepared or not prepared in responding to crisis situations, although the police officers felt very prepared, which is consistent with the surveyed literature. Additionally, students felt dissatisfied or very dissatisfied by the support they received from officers during crisis situations. However, the officers felt equipped or very equipped in responding. This somewhat differed from the surveyed literature, with student perspectives remaining the same, but with officer perspectives in the literature demonstrating that the officers did not feel quite as equipped in those situations. All of this indicates a need for more mental health services available, as noted by students and police officers alike. This could more specifically
That's okay. The officer wasn't very clear about what...
I think the Arrive Together program has potential, but personally, I think I would hate it because A, I prefer in-person to virtual, and B, I would find it overwhelming and too soon for someone to be like, here's my iPad, let's hook you up with virtual help. That would bother me a lot.
That was another audio recording of another student response that we wanted to highlight as well. And all of this brings us into our implications for future research, with the first point being that there should be an increased sample size to improve the rigor of our research. This could also potentially be done through more direct recruitment methods, but again, that would have to be done carefully due to the sensitive nature of this topic. Additionally, further research could use a more qualitative lens to provide participants more of an opportunity to share their unique experiences more explicitly, further providing a platform to share their experiences. A retrospective analysis of student experience surveys on campuses is also noted. The Wellness Center here on campus actually used surveys pre-COVID, but have not yet reinstated them, but are in the process of reinstating them so that the student voices are heard. And lastly, there should be further explanation of the experience of Kean University students and police officers with the Arrive Together team to continue to improve relations among students and officers. We would like to note that if you found this presentation has affected you at all, there is support available. We would like to give a warm and special thank you to all of the brave individuals who completed our survey. We would also like to warmly thank administrators here on campus, Janique Stanislaus, Jerome Hatfield, and Karen Lyles, who were instrumental in supporting our research. And this is our QR code for references. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the Neurodiverse detectives. I would like to call up the nature nerds, Hannah, Michelle, Becca, Bianca, Lauren, and Shauna, guided by their research advisor, Dr. Amanda Serafian.
Good evening, everyone. We are the Nature Nerds Research Group. My name is Shauna.
My name is Michelle. My name is Bianca.
My name is Lauren.
My name is Hannah.
And my name is Becca.
Our research was centered around nature-based interventions. And so, in theme of nature, we're going to be taking you all on a hiking experience that will explain our journey through our research study.
Before we embark on this hike, we invite you all to do a breathing exercise to get us in the zone.
We are about to embark on a long journey through the research trail. Just like embarking on a hiking expedition, this journey through research will lead us through uncharted territories of knowledge and discovery. To prepare for this trek, let's ground ourselves in this moment by using our breath. Let us begin with the box breathing technique using a count of 4 seconds. Inhale for 2, 3, 4. Now hold to this breath. Exhale for 2, 3, 4. Now hold to this breath. As we breathe with the rhythm of our surroundings, let's envision ourselves at the trailhead surrounded by nature. Feel the cool breeze against your skin. Hear the gentle rustle of leaves and sense the anticipation of what lies ahead.
Grab your trail maps and let us begin our journey. Our introduction to research began in the summer of 2023 when we were first introduced to our research topic, caregiver well-being and connectedness to nature. We reviewed the literature and were provided guidance on the steps we needed to take.
As we set out on the research trail, our first step is to establish our objectives. Our first objective is to gather demographic information regarding the population of caregivers of adults with developmental disabilities. Our second objective is to examine the relationship between well-being and caregivers of adults with developmental disabilities and their connectedness to nature. Now, we must decide which path or study design we need to take. As opposed to other design types, we are choosing to utilize a quantitative exploratory study. This fits best with our research as it will bring about evidence to support whether or not nature-based interventions are warranted for caregiver well-being. We will also use a cross-sectional survey design to gather data through surveying anonymous caregivers in order to explore whether they would be interested in engaging in nature-based therapeutic activities to increase their leisure participation and social connectedness.
Look up at that tree. It's our recruitment flyer. The flyer was posted on Kane University campus and places that publicly employ adults with developmental disabilities. 24 caregivers were recruited via social media and community centers. Survey respondents had to be an unpaid caregiver of an adult with DD over the age of 18 and access to a computer or smartphone to complete the survey. Some of these individuals are on that journey with us today. Part 1 of the study examined the content validity of the research developed survey, and Part 2, we distributed the anonymous survey and completed data analysis.
As we continued our path, the hike began getting harder. It started to become an uphill battle. Look, those rocks are blocking our path. It looks like those rocks are the outcome measures. There are 2 outcome measures. The first rock is the content validation of caregiver survey, which helped to measure the quality and relevancy of the survey over a 4-point Likert scale. The second rock is the caregiver well-being and leisure survey, which helped to collect demographics, caregiver well-being, leisure participation, and interest in nature-based activities. The nature connectedness scale included in this survey has been found to be reliable and valid among college students and community samples. That climb was rough, but we made it past the rocks.
I invite all of you at this time to pull out your binoculars. I see something interesting ahead. Oh,
Oh, look, it's our results. Caregivers were predominantly white, 55 to 64-year-old females who identified as a parent to the care recipient. Incomes ranged from less than $25,000 to greater than $150,000. Now that we've got a good look at the demographics, everyone follow me this way so we can see the rest of the results. Caregivers report enjoying nature, seeing it as grounding, peaceful, and calming. In fact, the average score on the CNS was 3.68, which means that they generally feel connected to the natural world. And this engagement in nature appears to have a positive impact on caregiver well-being. Aside from the spiritual realm, the majority of caregivers rated their status as good or very good for all other areas of health and well-being. We are not done yet. Everybody keep holding onto your binoculars and continue to follow me. There are a few more results up ahead. To get more into depth, there was a moderate, positive relationship between feeling one with the world and emotional health. There was also a moderate, positive relationship between thinking of the natural world as a community to which one belongs and emotional health. These results mean that without implying causation, the more caregivers felt one with the world, the greater their emotional health. And the more caregivers viewed the natural world as a community to which they belong, the greater their emotional health. Our research showed that caregiver families can facilitate engagement in nature, but unfortunately they can pose a barrier as well, along with lack of time. But caregivers are interested in nature-based events for families with adults with developmental disabilities and caregiver support in natural environments.
As we continue along our trail, closing in on our journey, let's pause to gaze into the waters. Not just to see our own reflection, but also to reflect on our journey through the Nature Nerds Trail. In our survey study, we encountered some limitations, including a small sample size, limited time for research due to program time constraints, and an inadequate representation of our caregivers and our demographic. Despite these limitations, our survey contributed valuable data on caregivers of adults with DD, a population that has been under-researched. We concluded that caregivers have an interest in nature-based resources, which is a potential opportunity to support their well-being, specifically supporting the emotional health domain as evidenced by the positive correlation found in results. Moving forward, these insights could pave the way for further exploration aimed at enhancing the well-being of caregivers in this community.
Now that we have made it to the top of the mountain and can finally enjoy the beautiful view, we invite the next group of students to embark on the new journey of going to a different hiking adventure. This was a Level 3 evidence study. For the future journey, students should focus on interviewing caregivers to explore their perspectives on nature-based intervention. They should also consider including a larger sample size and a longer time frame for recruitment. Future research on the well-being of caregivers of adults with developmental disability will allow occupational therapists to better serve this population. Also, having a better understanding of caregivers' experiences with nature and its effects on mental health and well-being will guide further research. Thank you for joining us on our journey, and we hope you enjoyed the beautiful view.
We want to give a big thank you to our research advisor, Dr. Amanda Serafian, and our research professor, Dr. Zahava Friedman, and our class statistician, Dr. Rutledge, who helped us with our results. Thank you all for supporting us throughout the research process. And we also want to give a big thank you to the caregivers who have taken our survey and which we were able to learn from. Thank you all for trailing along. Your presence matters. Let's keep supporting and advocating for our caregivers together. Thank you. And now, last but not least, we have a collaborative group, the Sleep Masters, with Sam, Christina, Claire, Cynthia, and Liz, as well as the Cozy collaborators with Sarah, Alexa, Alexis, and Diana, guided by their research advisors, Dr. Jennifer Gardner and Dr. Peggy Swarbrick, who we are honored is joining us today.
Hi, everyone. As Dr. Friedman shared, we are a joint master's and doctoral group. We have the Cozy collaborators from the doctorate group and the sleep masters from the masters, and our project is titled Sensorizing Your Sleep. From the Cozy collaborators, my name is Sarah.
My name's Alexis.
I'm Alexa.
And I'm Diana.
And then from the sleep masters, I'm Samantha.
I'm Cynthia.
My name is Claire.
I am Christina.
And I'm Liz.
And we are going to begin our project with the Cozy collaborators telling you about the idea behind it and how it started. So, by a show of hands, who here enjoys sleep? Wow, oh my gosh, we all have an occupation that we have in common. So, you may be asking yourself, what does sleep have to do with occupational therapy? Well, in our occupational therapy practice framework, rest and sleep are listed as a valuable occupation that impact all the meaningful and purposeful activities that we do throughout the day. Sleep is divided into two categories, into sleep participation and sleep preparation, which means that sleep is not just about you putting your head to bed, but it also includes all the activities that you do to prepare yourself for that moment. Occupational therapists also have a very unique lens on the sensory system and recognize that the sensory experiences we have throughout the day impact us all the way up until the moment we go to sleep. Now, with that being said, and understanding the importance of sleep, the CDC actually found that 34.8% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 64 experience getting less than 7 hours of sleep. Additionally, some other sleep disturbances in the literature include that some people get too much sleep or experience sleep disturbances in the middle of the night. Now, within current OT research, the consistency between OT interventions is lacking, and a lot of the research does show that it's not enough to just talk about sleep hygiene, but we also have to talk about things like the environment, psychosocial factors, and habits and routines, which OTs are perfectly positioned to do so. And so, with all of those taken into consideration, our group decided to create an occupation and sensory-based sleep workbook to help individuals ages 18 and up who are living with sleep disturbances.
Our workbook was modeled by the wellness model, which is composed of 8 dimensions that are interdependent on each other, meaning that as one changes, it impacts the rest of them. For instance, sleep falls within the physical dimension of wellness. So think about a time you didn't get enough sleep. How did this affect your ability to socialize with others or engage in occupations such as going to work or going to school? We use the interdependency to guide our research question. Our research question is, what is the feasibility and impact of a sleep-based intervention for adults who experience general sleep disturbances? When we refer to feasibility, we are measuring how helpful the workbook was or how well participants perceived the workbook. On the other hand, impact refers to how impactful the workbook was and how sleep was affected or how these 8 dimensions were affected. We explored this through a mixed methods approach, meaning we used both quantitative surveys and qualitative interviews or open-ended questions. And we did this through 4 different outcome measures. The first outcome measure being the wellness inventory, which explored these 8 dimensions. And then we also used the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, which explored the quality and quantity of participants' sleep. We administered these prior to the intervention and then 30 days after the intervention was completed. And we explored feasibility through the feasibility questionnaire and one-on-one interviews in order to get a sense of how well the participants perceived the workbook.
Co-production is defined as the inclusion of service receivers and individuals with lived experiences in the process of the research, design, and development of services. This was a very important component of our research study. During this experience, we had the opportunity to connect with our targeted population.
allowing us to become learners of their lived experience related to sleep disturbances. Through this collaboration, we were able to learn from them, and they were able to provide us with feedback on the overall content and design of the workbook. The experience was made possible through an ongoing collaboration of 10 meetings over the span of 20 weeks. So the meetings happened on a bi-weekly basis, and they lasted about 90 minutes each. We would like to take a moment to give a special thank you to our team at Collaborative Support Programs of New Jersey, Dr. Margaret Peggy Shorebrick, Kelly Bennett, George Bryce, Adam Crone, Matthew Crilly, and Isabella Palmieri. Again, thank you for all your efforts in being part of the process.
So our intervention was 4 60-minute virtual sessions, either in a group or individually. Our workbook with the 4 sessions resulted in 4 chapters. The first session was the benefits of sleep. The second was habits. The third was all about the senses. And 4 was sensorizing your habits and routines. Each chapter of the workbook then had 3 sections: explain, evaluate, and engage. Explain was used to inform about habits, routines, and sensory strategies that contribute to positive sleep experiences. Evaluate was used to examine sleep needs, challenges, and sensory strategies that can support sleep habits and routines. Engage was building upon the evaluate section to plan and practice sensory strategies to promote a positive sleep experience.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I wish I had better sleep? Or, I can never seem to get enough sleep? Or, I really wish there was a sensory-based sleep workbook out there that could help me with my occupations and getting a better night's sleep and feeling well-rested and having overall better wellness? Well, we have the answer for you. Introducing Sensorizing Your Sleep. It is a co-produced, interactive workbook that helps you go through your sleep to get better quality of sleep, better quantity of sleep, all through an occupational therapy lens.
Is your room too bright? Do you hear too much noise? Waking up in the middle of the night because you are hungry? Are you tossing and turning in bed? Do you go to sleep feeling too hot or too cold?
All these experiences are connected to your senses. This workbook helps you recognize your sensory preferences in order to have good sleep.
This workbook is divided into 4 sessions to improve your wellness through sleep. Each session starts with an explain section, which goes through all the information you need. The evaluate section lets you self-reflect on what you learned. And the engage section gives you hands-on practice making changes to your sleep.
This workbook helps you to incorporate an understanding of your senses with the habits and routines you partake in daily. With our handy-dandy chart, you can pick a habit that you partake in, check what time you do it, check what senses are impacted, and decide if it helps, hinders, or has no impact on your sleep.
We could spend all day telling you about how the workbook is informative and interactive and how it impacts your sleep from before to after, but don't just take it from us. Here's what our customers have to say.
Using this sleep workbook has allowed me to improve my sleep quality and quantity, as well as increase my overall energy levels in order to be able to participate in spending time with my friends and family and take on more paid projects at work.
During this process, I realized sleep isn't just something that I do, but it's a part of who I am. After these sessions, I feel more empowered and more prepared to make the changes to my sleep that I didn't have before.
Thanks to this workbook, I was able to improve my habits drastically after the second and the third session, which were about habits and senses. Using the habit tracker made it feel way less overwhelming to make changes in my nightly habits.
So if you want your hands on this workbook, call the toll-free number, 1-800-SLEEP-OT. Call within the next 30 minutes to get your very own sleep kit, which includes ways to modify your sleep environment, like a weighted blanket, earplugs, and a nightlight. We have a virtual copy or a physical copy. Sleep smart, live bright, your path to wellness starts here.
So, hello again, we are the Sleep Masters, and we're going to talk about what we found out about the workbook. So, our participants were recruited via convenience sampling from community wellness centers with inclusionary criteria being 18 years or older and experiencing sleep challenges, including insufficient sleep, sleep disturbances, or sleep disorders like insomnia. And in total, there were 13 participants that were recruited and attended all 4 sessions, and all 13 completed their feasibility survey, with 12 completing their pre-assessments and 8 completing their post-assessments.
So our quantitative results indicated that there was an improvement in the global PSQI scores and the wellness inventory scores. With the wellness inventory score, we saw an increase in the scores pre and post assessment, which a higher score on the wellness inventory indicates increased wellness. While on the PSQI, we noticed a decrease in the scores between the pre and post data, which decrease or lower score on the PSQI indicates better sleep quality. And while we did note these improvements, there was no statistical significance found between the collective pre and post scores. However, we did note key improvements in the environmental, social, and occupational wellness on the wellness inventory score, and we noticed key improvements in the sleep duration, sleep latency, and habitual sleep efficiency on the PSQI. Regarding the feasibility survey, 92.3% of the participants who completed the survey stated that the program had a positive impact on their sleep and that the program had helped them understand how their sensory needs impact their sleep.
So now we'll be moving on to our qualitative results. So these are the themes or the big ideas that we gained from the one-on-one interviews with participants, from the comments on our feasibility survey, and from the field notes taken by these student researchers. So theme 1 is related to the feasibility of the program. So barriers to full understanding of the material included the complexity of the language and the organization of the workbook, as well as the program length. So participants had a bit of difficulty with some of the language in the workbook and in the survey. So changing the cognition level of some of our wording would help to make it appropriate for a broader audience, as well as that participants found that they wanted a longer intervention, so either more sessions or longer sessions that would help them to get a better understanding of the workbook. So our next theme is a positive one related to the feasibility and acceptability of the intervention. So participants appreciated the guided facilitation of the material coupled with the design of the workbook. So participants particularly noted that they liked the habit tracker that was seen in our video and found that it was helpful to help organize some of their thoughts and their learnings. They also noted that they really appreciated the student researcher facilitation, both in one-on-one and group formats, and that was very impactful in their learnings. The last theme is related to the benefits and the impact of our intervention on the participants. So participants expanded their knowledge, which appears to have increased their motivation and their confidence to initiate changes in their own environments, habits, and routines related to their sensory preferences and their sleep. So a lot of our participants noted both in the comments and in their interviews that they were taking what they learned in the intervention and were taking action in their own lives to make change, and we're seeing the benefits of it in their sleep and in their overall wellness.
The research identified limitations in the program, such as it was a virtual format, which created a barrier in participation, as well as there was no demographics on mental health diagnosis, and it was a single group research design with no comparison. The research was non-randomized control, and it had a small sample size. 12 of the 13 participants did find that the program positively improved their sleep, as well as improving their understanding in sleep patterns and their sensory needs. There were some barriers within the workbook, but despite that, the participants overall liked the program and experienced benefits from it.
So we learned a great deal from this study. Our quantitative and qualitative results yielded clinical implications that demonstrate that the occupation-based workbook that we created is feasible and acceptable, while also illustrating some areas for improvement in order to make it more easily accessible to a larger audience. And while our quantitative results were not statistically significant related to wellness and sleep outcomes, the overall general upward trajectory in both of these areas show that the workbook is a possible promising and effective intervention to address sleep disturbances in individuals who access community wellness centers in New Jersey, though more research is needed. Moving forward, there is now the opportunity for a future larger study to be conducted to continue to investigate the effectiveness of the workbook following any edits that are made based on our results, and possibly for this workbook to be used in community wellness centers by staff members and peer leaders. This study also demonstrated the importance of co-production, or including individuals with lived experiences in the creation of interventions and services. Our co-production council was essential to the creation of the workbook, and it was also served as a valuable experience for us as future clinicians. Something that we have talked about over and over again in every single class over the last 2 years, and something that this experience really took home for us is the idea of client-centered care or person-centered care, which is making sure that whoever that we are working with, be it an individual, a group, or a larger population, that they have a voice in every step of the process, from evaluation to discharge. And overall, our study contributes to the larger growing discussion and evidence providing support for sleep interventions that fall within the occupational therapy domain. So feel free to scan our QR code if you are interested in any of our references. You can also find a copy of the workbook in there if you are interested in perusing it. We'd like to thank you for listening. Thank you for being here tonight. We'd like to extend huge gratitude for our research advisor, Dr. Jennifer Gardner, as well as Dr. Peggy Swarbrick, who is here with us tonight, wherever she is in the crowd. We love you, Peggy. And Live, Laugh, Love, Swarbrick. And a big thank you to our research professor, Dr. Zahava Friedman. And thank you to this wonderful, wonderful group. And we wish you all sweet dreams.
Good evening, everyone. We're now going to pivot to the pinning ceremony. All right. All right. So the pinning ceremony is a unique and special tradition in the occupational therapy community. This event acknowledges the hard work and dedication of the students in coursework and clinical and community experiences over the past 2 years. This pin is a symbol of their transition to practice, and it honors their dedication to pursuing a career aiming to advance health, well-being, and quality of life.
So we will now call on the OTD class research group led by Jennifer Gardner, Neurodiverse Detectives.
Okay, Danielle Arabito. Stephanie Correa. Gabriella Kipp. Christine Laskowski. Carmina Tawfiq.
No, just the name. And now the cozy collaborators.
Alexis Feria. Diana Mishuk. Alexa Montavo. Sarah Orby.
Please give it up for the OTD class. Stay, Jen. Okay, we now call up the Track A research groups, beginning with the Sleep Masters, led by Jen Gardner.
Samantha Fish. Claire Hunter.
Look at those shoes. Look at those shoes.
Christina Malkin. Cynthia Reyes.
Elizabeth Nguyen.
Okay. We now call up Track A Research Group led by Michael Camacho with the Accessibility Advocates.
Nalani Velez. Sandra Bullis. Zachary Capote. Eric Gonzalez. Christopher McGuire.
We now call on Track A Research Group led by Amanda Serafian, the Nature Nerds. Michelle Vasquez. Bianca D'Souza. Shauna Corbett. Hannah Criollo. Okay, let's give it up to Track A MSOT class. Did I do it wrong? Okay, we're not done with the nature nerds. Amanda, back in your spot. So now we have Track B Research Group with the nature nerds. I'm ready. Okay, Rebecca Gason. Gassing. Lauren Nadelsky. I'll do this one. Okay, now we call Track B Research Group led by Michael Camacho.
Haley Foglia. Catlea Le Tico. Wiser Million. Rachel N. Pierre.
Antonella Rubio.
So caught up in this, and I'm not doing my job. Okay, we will now call Track B Research Group led by Dr. Zahava Friedman, Raising Families.
Miara Joy Mandap. Dervain Matos. Sana Mir. Jenel Rana. Brianna Soma. Carly Zazopoulos.
Please give it up for Track B MSOT class.
Congratulations to all for receiving your pins. We would now like to invite Professor Romano to the podium to lead the student oath, and the students are invited to the front of the auditorium to recite the oath.
Good evening, everyone. I'm now going to lead the students in reading of the oath. Following the oath, I'm going to invite the students to sit back down in order to view the video that Sarah put together. Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3. As I transition from academic to clinical phases of the Kane University Occupational Therapy Program, I solemnly pledge to faithfully abide by the 7 core values of the occupational therapy profession: altruism, equality, freedom, justice, dignity, truth, and prudence. As the mantle of occupational therapy is passed to me, in serving altruism, I will provide care to all persons, groups, and populations with an open mind, compassionate heart, and full understanding of who they truly are by serving them as a whole person. In serving equality, I will ensure that all persons, groups, and populations will be treated equally regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, or culture. In serving freedom, I will be a lifelong learner, providing evidence-based care and promise to keep the occupation in occupational therapy. In serving justice, I will fight for occupational justice for all persons, groups, and populations that seek occupational therapy.
In serving dignity, I will uphold the honor of this profession and ensure the dignity of all persons, groups, and populations at all times through respect and value. In serving truth, I will place all persons, groups, and populations' needs and preferences at the center of care. And I vow against the use of malpractice throughout my career as a future occupational therapist. In serving prudence, I vow to abide by the Occupational Therapy Code of Ethics and ensure that I and my colleagues are accountable to our responsibilities. In service to Kane, I will emphasize serving the community as an individual practitioner and an active collaborator in interprofessional teams in order to deliver holistic and creative practice that increases health, well-being, and quality of life. Therefore, from the privilege and rights that my education at Kane University provides, I hereby pledge to hold my knowledge in trust for the good of clients whom I serve and adhere to the statements above as I enter the professional phase of my education and actively participate in our profession. Congratulations, incoming class of 2022.